Welcome to our magical journal. And this week we had a wonderful time doing all of our topics. What is the quote for this week? For this week is,
open different doors. You might find a you there that you never knew was yours. Anything can happen.
by who?
By Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins said that. What does that mean? It means try different things. Look into different topics. You may find something that you're very passionate and interested in that you never knew you were interested in. So you never know until you try, is basically what it means. And anything can happen. That is so right? The Trail of Tears. And it was a really sad topic, but it was something that I felt like was necessary for me to learn. So, book. I did Force Removal, Causes and Effects of the Trail of Tears. And this was a wonderful book in explaining and being straight to the point in things so that I could understand what actually all happened before and then after. And so cause number one actually is a huge cultural difference. These are the events that led up to the Trail of Tears. So they had, one of the huge cultural differences is that they put women in charge of farming. And that was something that nobody in the white American kind of culture would do. Also, they worship different gods. Cherokee John Ross, who was chief in 1828, lived on a plantation home. He grew cotton, wheat, peaches, and apples. He also owned several American slaves, which I found was very interesting. He actually, John Ross actually adopted the culture in order to avoid the cultural differences. So in the 1790s, George Washington introduced Plan of Civilization, which focused on changing Indian culture. So they wanted to change the Indians' way of living. And so they actually put out an act, so that they could change it. Andrew Jackson was president during the time that they actually removed the Indians in 1830, so this is 2 years later. Members of Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole tribes were removed from their homes in the southeast. Trail of Tears describes the forced journey of Indians out of their homes. So number two, cause effect, we had the culture difference. Cause number two is a growing country. Farmland was valuable and mining land as well, and so establishing Indians as farmers rather than hunters was very important element of the civilization plan that George Washington put out in 1828. Farmers required less land than hunting did, so they wanted farming and no hunters anymore. So once Indians were farmers, white Americans could claim more land, and most Indians didn't agree with this. So that's where some of the problem was. Cause number three, Georgia wanted the Cherokee gone. So our state of Georgia, in 1828, Georgia laws were stripped of the Cherokee of their rights and allowed them to take their land. The tribe fought back in 1831 and 1832. They lost in 31 but won in 32 with Chief Justice John Marshall. There will be a picture of him now, who said that states could not regulate Indian land. And John Marshall, here's the fact about him, he actually served 34 years as Chief Justice in Supreme Court, the longest in history. But President Jackson and Georgia actually ignored all of it. Even though they won, they ignored the fact that the Cherokees actually did have rights, and it was not good. So then, cause number four, the Indian Removal Act. This new law authorized president to negotiate treaties to tribes to give up land in exchange for money, and granted land west of the Mississippi. Every tribe reacted differently. So you had people that didn't agree, and some signed. War would break out. The Cherokees signed a petition, but were ignored. The government gave Cherokees 2 years to leave their land, and they were never paid. So by 1838, it was up to Van Buren. By now, Van Buren was president, to deal with any Cherokee left, and he sent 7,000 soldiers to force Cherokee to leave their homes. They were forced to leave with just clothes on their back, and no food was provided. Only 1,000 Cherokee escaped Roundup. They eventually set up in North Carolina, and are known as Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. 2,500 died before Roundup was completed, and men were urged to march 12 to 15 miles a day, and many of them died here. The remaining Cherokee asked to delay the journey, but they got their wish, but ended up making the journey during the winter, and a lot of people died then. It took 6 months. Estimated 4,500 Cherokee Indians died on the trail, and that's about a quarter of the Cherokee Nation. And this is a picture of their journey on the screen for you. The effects of the Trail of Tears. Human suffering, of course, is number one. You had divided tribes. Some of them had to start completely over, and are still in disagreement today. So some wanted to follow white settlers' way of life. Number three, struggle to survive. After Cherokee worked together to survive, they formed new constitution, newspaper, schools, etc. The U.S. government continued to claim land. Indian Territory would no longer exist. It became the state of Oklahoma in 1907. And the Cherokee Nation still exists today with its own government in northeastern Oklahoma. So that's actually where they ended up, was Oklahoma. What is your topic?
My topic this week is animation.
Animation.
Oh, so I'm going to first start with this book.
So you did that book?
Yep. And there's something that was interesting to me in there. It was this page.
Ooh, and what is that?
This is Kung Fu Panda, and this is Michael Yamada, as a visual development artist who has worked for DreamWorks Animation, Warner Bros., and other production companies on such films as Puss in Boots, Kung Fu Panda 2, and How to Train a Dragon.
So he's an animator, huh?
He is an animator.
Okay.
An artist.
Cool.
You draw okay, so here's how to make an animation. You draw a picture, put it all together, and with a little hard work, be persistent, and in a few minutes, you'll have a movie.
Cool. Okay.
For example, here's a ball that is up. Now it's flat on the ground, and then it bounces back up again.
Okay. So you put multiple pictures together to make a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
To make things look like a movie.
Okay. Cool.
Alright.
What else did you learn?
Next thing is about animate. Alright, animation. Animate means to make something move.
Okay. Cool. Animate means to make something move.
Okay, but coders plan first, but sometimes have to play with the code to get the results they want.
Now, why are you talking about coding? What does that have to do with animation?
It has to do with how to make a movie.
That's right. How to make like a computer game or any of that, to control a computer.
Yeah,
and
like
how
gaming with
to
voxels.
control a picture, and to do that.
You
okay.
have to use coding.
So you learned about coding too this week in order to kind of go deeper
Now
into
pay
animation.
attention on this next one.
Okay.
This one is a fun one. If you ever wanted your pictures to look like they're moving, good news, you can today. Now let's get started on making things animate.
Okay. Ready? Now what do we do?
So, look, I drew these pictures. All three of these are going
Okay.
to start looking like they're moving.
This hand.
Alright. You have to flip fast. There you go. You see things moving?
Yeah.
The bees moving. That? Alright, so stop motion is a unique type of animation where models sometimes made from clay or puppets are used to make animation.
And where did you do that type of animation at one time? We've done it before.
At, what's it called?
The science.
The Kids Science
The
Museum.
Discovery Museum at Chattanooga, huh?
You might know that place, you might not.
Mhm.
But if you want to go to it, you sure can.
It's a neat
now
museum.
It's Ashley's turn. Okay, hi, my name is Ashley and my topic is the moon.
Okay. The moon. We delved a little bit into space too, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it looks like
It's like a werewolf. It is a werewolf. And why do they have a werewolf in a moon book?
I don't know.
Well, how does the moon affect the werewolf?
By Halloween.
It makes him howl and turn into a werewolf, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. So scientists think
Coming all the way around.
that the whole world, this whole world happened in a big bang.
Big Bang. Yep.
But that didn't happen.
You don't think it happened?
By God. Our solar system.
Your solar system. Do you remember any planets?
I forgot.
Well, what's that planet?
Uranus.
With the ring around it. Big planet with ring around it.
I remember Uranus. And
Yeah, Uranus has a ring. This is Saturn, and this is
Jupiter.
Jupiter. All right, what else? What's this? Daddy told you this.
There's lots of calcium in the moon.
Lots of calcium in the moon. You had a question about that, didn't you? What about this? What are these?
Those are the different phases of the moon.
Different phases. What is this? Is this a different moon?
It is. It's a moon. It's different.
Like a planet's moon?
Yeah.
Another planet's?
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
This is a better shot of the solar system.
Okay, so this is the what? Sun and
Asteroid.
asteroid belt. What is closest to the sun? Do you remember the planet?
Mercury.
Mercury. Then do we remember what's next to Mercury?
Venus.
Venus. Then what?
Earth.
Well, that's Earth, yeah. But Mars is hanging out somewhere. Then you've got all your different
I
planets.
think this is.
But what is this?
This one's a Mars.
What's that?
Asteroid.
The asteroid belt. And what's this?
And there's 2 asteroid belts in our solar system.
There is, but it's not. They're not called asteroid belts, are they?
The Earth has a little bit of gravity.
Gravity. And what is he doing on the moon?
He's playing golf.
He's playing golf.
You can make your own constellations from other constellations.
You can connect dots. It's like connect the dots, huh? Is that it?
Yes, I think so. What did you learn this week? Tell us on the comments.
See us on our next video.
Bye.